Alright guys, what up, what up, what up? Just making a few just getting some things set up real quick. Alright, cool. These changes have been set. Let me do one more thing, then we'll get started. Alright, cool. Alright, what up guys? What up, what up, what up? I am Lou. And hopefully y'all doing good on this Tuesday. So again, I stream every Tuesdays, every Fridays. Fridays is drinking with Lou. Tuesdays is hanging with Lou. We're gonna hang out. We're gonna talk. If you have questions, program-related questions, things of that nature, this is the time to jump in. And let's talk, right? So I have had viewers jump on my live streams and you know, ask for help on certain things. Um, you know, they may want help on me reviewing their code. Maybe they want me to help them out on some kind of project, whatever it is, guys. But nevertheless, this is the time. If you do need help, if you do want me to review your code, if you do want me to help you out with maybe some kind of function that you're trying to build, something, or some of the videos that I have made, you may have you get stuck right in certain areas. This is the time of the live stream to um, let me know what that is. We could look into it. We could code it as we speak and try to get that solved, right? So that's what we're trying to do here, man. I'm trying to help y'all out. This is the time to ask any questions that you have. Then we go from there. I do have a viewer that sent to me an email earlier. Um, if they join the live stream, then we'll kind of go through one of their questions that they had. Ultimately, kind of related to AWS Lambda and S3, building some sort of trigger functionality when a file is dropped that ultimately triggers Lambda will execute. I believe in this case would be AWS glue job. So if they join, we'll go through that. If not, again, leave a chat. Let me know if there's anything that you want to talk about, that you need help with, whether it be Python programming, maybe some pipelines, data, whatever. Right. So this is the time to let's talk and review. Man, I actually had a long day today. I've been up. What time did I get up? I've been up since like what 7 in the morning, 7ish in the morning. Here's the thing, for me that's early, right? Some of y'all be like 7. That's not that early. Like what the hell? No, to me it is early. Um, and it's early because I'm a night owl, whatever you want to call it, right? I'm up. I normally don't go to sleep to 2 to 3, sometimes even 4. But I try to, go to sleep no later than 3 or so, 3ish, anyways. Um, I don't know. For me, I'm always busy. I'm always active. Um, I'm not saying the best schedule, but just kind of what my schedule has always been, and to some degree has kind of worked, I guess. Right? Like I like going to the gym late. When I go to the gym, I go to the gym at 9:45 or 10. So the gym that I go to, they close at 11. So whenever I go at 9:45, it's like 5 minutes away down the street, not that far. Um, it's pretty empty. Every once in a while I get there, there's like a decent amount of people at the weights, but I do cardio in the beginning, just kind of get my blood pumping, warmed up, and so on. By the time I get ready to go to the weight section, everybody's already leaving. So pretty much like everything just free, right? The bench is free. It's a small gym. That's the other thing about it. It's not like a 24-hour or what's the other one? Elite Fitness or whatever. A lot of these big commercial ones, Planet Fitness, I guess, or whatever. Like it's not this big, massive gym where I used to go to LA Fitness, um, and then of course, whenever I used to go at night, like it's big. Like they have multiple equipments of everything. And then of course, like the popular equipment, like the bench and all, things of that nature, they have like 10 of them or even more, right? A dozen line up. So of course, when you go in late, that's like, dude. I mean, maybe one person using one or two, and then the rest is free. Compared to when you go in the middle of the day, like they're all being used up. So it's a small gym. Like the amount of benches that are available is probably like four. So there's not a ton. And then of course, a lot of the equipment, they only have one set of equipment, like one set of this, one set of this. Because again, it's a small gym, not a big gym. It's a pretty small gym for sure. Um, it's probably the size of like a big house, put it that way. Um, but either way, it's cheap and not expensive. I think like what, $12 a month or something. But nevertheless, um, yeah, I'm not a morning person, man. Had to get up early today. Just had a meeting actually, one of my clients, so I got up early for that reason. But I've been busy, man. Been getting a lot of things done, so I may try to go to sleep a little bit early today once I'm done streaming. I think there's a few things I'm gonna end up doing. So what I'm gonna do is I'm streaming today, like on YouTube, from 8:15 to 10:15. Then I'm gonna end up streaming on Twitch for probably about an hour and a half. And then after that, I'm probably gonna call it a day and just kind of relax for a little bit. Start kind of get my mind to, um, get it ready to bed. Like my mind's always so active, like all the time. And when I'm active like that, I could be up and focus, and it just the way my mind's wired, I guess. In order, if I try to go to bed, it becomes tough. I need to like shut it off. So that's why I need at least 15, 20 minutes of just kind of, all right, try to do something that doesn't keep my mind active like that, and ultimately then go to bed, right? So, all right, guys, again, any questions y'all have, programming, so I use AWS a lot. So I'm not saying I know everything about the AWS, because I don't. There's a lot of stuff AWS that I just haven't touched because I haven't had a need to touch. Right, that's the thing about it. There's a lot of AWS stuff that I do, that I touch, and I work on. So I know very decent or very well to some degree. There's a whole bunch of services AWS that I just never had a need to even touch, to even utilize. Now that being said, if I need to use it, I'll figure it out, and most likely, I have found it to become easier to figure things out. That's one thing I would tell you. Like, kind of give an example. I was working on this I am currently working on this project for one of my clients, but they're using Azure, right? So my background has been mainly all in AWS for some years now. So I've used a lot of different services for AWS. AWS Glue, Lambda. Some of them I use at a basic level. Others I use more extensively. But nevertheless, I have used EC2, RDS, Lambda, Glue, um, Route 53, S3. Just kind of, again, I'm just naming a few things, but there's a lot of services, and there's a section of Redshift that I have utilized. Right, some of them I just used a lot. Others I use every so often. Um, but there was a project where we were doing some pipelines in Azure. Now, if you understand pipelines, um, if you what's the word? So if you understand how pipelines operate, like the flow of it, the functionality, the I don't even call it the functionality, the concept of what a pipeline is, and then on top of that, you have done pipelines in, let's say, in another platform. The main thing is just kind of getting familiar with this new platform. In this case, that's in Azure, right? Um, that's all it is, man. At the end of the day, the concepts of how certain things are done, though they're going to be the same, those normally don't change. What it is, it's just the way the tool utilizes the features, right? It's kind of like if you're a programmer. So let's say your first programming language is, I'm going to pick Python, right? A lot of people say, oh, you should learn Python. It's easy. That should be your main language. And there's some truth to that. Like, I don't think it has to be Python. I think there's a lot of other languages that it could be first. But nevertheless, let's just say it's Python. That's your first language. So when you get ready to switch to learn another language, I can tell you right now, it's going to be way more easier, right? And I'm talking about once you have the fundamentals and the experience of at least using one language, for sure. And the reason why it becomes that so much easier is when you're dealing with one programming language, even something like Python, right? I'm just picking Python for now, but you're dealing with a programming language. You're dealing with functions. You're dealing with loops, right? Iterations, variables. You're gonna be dealing with classes, things of that nature. Global variables, like what scope in outer scope. Inheritance, like all these. Again, it all depends to what level you end up learning that language, like learning the fundamentals of programming. But nevertheless, though, if you learn at least a good decent of it, like dealing with one language, yeah, you're gonna learn the syntax very well, but you're gonna also learn the fundamentals behind it. So what happens is when you get ready to switch from, let's say, Python to realistically probably be something like JavaScript. And the reason why I say JavaScript, because that's front end. Ideally, if you're building web apps, which right now web apps are what I want to call most popular out there, because everybody has one, right? I mean, just think about it for a minute, right? Mobile apps used to be so popular back in the day, then there was a big decline. Now there's still a lot of apps out there, mobile apps, and people still developing these apps. But in the same time, a lot of people don't really want to install apps unless they have to. There's some apps that in order for you to utilize, you have to install. It just makes sense. Like Snapchat is a good example where you can't get around it. If you want to use it, you got to install the app. Simple as that. Like there is no web version of it. Now, a lot of business applications, for example, that are out there, they're more web first and then mobile app second. Like they may have a web app because, again, businesses are using it for business. They're in their office. They're on a PC, right? Laptops of some sort, and it just becomes more easier. Where other devices that are designed to be mobile first, because they're designed to be on mobile. TikTok is another one, right? Very mobile centric. Whereas you have apps like Facebook that is either or, right? You build a mobile app because the demand's there. People are very mobile now, but you have a desktop app because a lot of people use a desktop still, for those like businesses and things of that nature. So, either way, the point I was trying to say is when you switch over from a language, like let's say you learn Python very well. Let's say you got a good year under your belt, Python. You've been using it, understand the fundamentals, the foundation of programming. You understand Python syntax very well. Then you want to learn JavaScript. It's going to become way more easier to make the switch. Because the lot of the stuff that you learn in Python, like a good amount of the stuff that you learn in Python, it's going to apply to JavaScript. The only difference is the syntax is going to look slightly different. If you're used to like, okay, I want to write code and I want to print out my results, just kind of, that's how I check to see something. Let's just say that's what you do. Well, now you got to figure out, well, how do you do that in JavaScript? Well, it's not going to be print, but in order to get the same kind of output that you will get out of Python, which is called print, it will be console log. Again, you just got to get familiar with a different syntax, right? Different function name. When you create a function in JavaScript, it's going to be different than how you create it in Python. But the logic behind your function, where a function may take in an argument, right, a parameter, well, that's the same concept. You got to assign, have some kind of variable that's going to be for your argument, and then ultimately you're going to use that variable inside your function to do whatever the hell you wanted to do, right? So the concepts are all the same. It's the syntax that you got to get familiar with. And it's like anything, once you learn, let's say Python, JavaScript, let's say next you want to go to C#. Eventually, it's going to become a lot easier because you're just dealing more so with syntax. There are certain design principles that will be slightly different when you're dealing with like a dynamic language compared to a static language, right? Like Python and C#. But again, though, eventually with overtime, a lot of that will make more sense either way. Oh yeah, and also guys, so I have an April giveaway for the month of April. So I actually did the drawing already on the winner. So the way I did it for the month of April is you had to email me, and then ultimately just by emailing me, letting me know that you want me to put your name in the raffle. I end up, picking the name, pretty much a random name from one of my viewers, and they're the one that's going to be getting the prize. So the prize for the month of April is this guy, the Microsoft ergonomic keyboard with mouse and a number pad. So that was for the month of April. The winner for that keyboard, yep, it's already time. So I said I'm going to announce it at 8:30. I'm actually a little bit late. So the winner of that keyboard is my follower by the name of Python Developer. So I have a follower. He goes by the name of Python Developer. He's the winner of the keyboard. So Python Developer, if you're watching, I will be emailing you. I'll be responding back to your email, letting you know that you're the winner of the keyboard. And then just email me whatever address you want me to mail it to you to. So just let me know your address and I'll get that mailed to you. So yeah, again, I'm going to be giving away more items every month. That was the item for the month of April. For the month of May, which is, we're already in May, this is going to be toward the end of the month, I'm going to be giving away some RAM. So this is some Coursera Vengeance 32 gig RAM, 2 stakes, 16 gigs each. So if you're in the need of some RAM, 3600 megahertz, if you need RAM, you're looking for RAM, I'm giving away a pack which has 2 sticks, a total of 32 gigs of RAM. So this would be the giveaway for the month of May. So I'm currently working on a app that I'm kind of putting together, and I think initially it's gonna be some. It's not gonna look pretty initially. It's just gonna be something basic, just kind of get it out there quick and fast. But ultimately, I'm gonna try to get it done for this raffle, right? For this giveaway, which is the giveaway for the month of May. But ultimately, instead of the viewer emailing me and then letting me know, like, they're interested and they want to be part of the raffle, every time I create a new giveaway, I'm going to upload a picture to this platform, and then I'm going to provide the users with the link. So ultimately, you go to the link, and then the page will give you the opportunity to enter in for that raffle. And I think the only requirement I'm going to ask initially is going to be email, because I need to be able to contact you via email if you win. And that's it. That's all I need. Just email. That's it. Nothing else. Just the email. But that's an app that I'm going to be putting together, working on. I'm going to try to get it done. Again, I think some of the features that I'm going to build is going to be very straightforward, just from a visual. The way I'm imagining it is, as I do giveaways, like, I think the way I'm going to build it is, and this is more from a design, from the system standpoint. I'm going to call them projects, right? So let's say every time I want to do a giveaway, I got to create a new project. Then inside that new project, there would be, I have it laid out on my whiteboard. There would be, so from a modeling standpoint, there will be like a project model in the database, and then there will be a prize model, and ultimately the prize model will join to the project model, right? So it'll be project first, and then it will, there'll be one project, and the project would have a lot of the settings to the project, right? Whether, like, the settings could be, when does it expire, based on the expiration date, for example, then that means no new entries could be received. So there would be like a kind of like a end date kind of deal. Then of course you put your information, like the project would be, let's say May's giveaway, right? May 2022 giveaway, or May 22 giveaway, keyboard giveaway, or whatever, right? You could kind of put whatever, in my case, it'll be a memory giveaway, whatever I want to name it. But that's kind of where the project comes in on the app that I'm going to build. Then there will be another model for prize. Then ultimately, that's where that model is going to have the URL pointing to which folder the image is at. So as I upload an image, with the file name of that image, it's going to just point to that to know how to pull it to, like, this for displaying purposes, right? And then there'll be some detailed information on the prize, like what is the prize, there'll be like a description of the prize, things of that nature, right? So very, very straightforward, nothing too crazy. And then the third table would be the what's called entry table, I guess. I think that's how I have it notated. And ultimately, that the entry table is really going to be the viewers, as people who want to enter into that month, or that raffle, whatever it is. Maybe I'm doing 2 raffles in 1 month, but it doesn't matter. Whatever it is, as people register and they go to the browser and enter in their information, which the only thing for now I'm going to ask for is going to be email. Let me phrase it. I'll probably ask for email and then some kind of alias name, right? You don't have to give your full name or nothing like that. So some people, I know they may not want to do that, and I don't want to capture that either. So, but some kind of alias name, right? So whether that be some just name, whatever you go by on YouTube, perhaps. Like if you go by uh like one of my viewers, he goes by Python developer. And that's the username in on YouTube. So even if it's something like that, that's what they will put on their alias name. So it'll be email, alias name. That's it. And I think alias name will be optional. I'm not going to make it mandatory. So it's just more, they could put it in. It makes it easier to identify. Nevertheless, it would just be through the email at the minimum. And that's it, man. Like, and then of course I will have to build logic in the back end. That's kind of where some of the logic could be. I think for now, I will probably have it where you could only apply for one, giveaway, right? So, which is, again, I'm calling it a project, but you can only apply. You can only enter it once. So there have to be logic that says, all right, if you if they enter in for that giveaway, check the email to make sure it doesn't exist in the table for that giveaway. And if it does exist, then it needs to spit out a message back telling the end user, already registered or already entered or something like that. But one of the things I do want to do is probably add functionality out of the way to the app where if you want to enter in multiple times, you could do that too. So and again, I'm building this app that I'm talking about. I'm starting to build it, and it's gonna be in Django and Python. So I'll go through some of that. I know I started kind of working on that a little bit, and there's a few things that I started kind of getting set up, which is the like the user model, in Django, trying to get that set up. And then I need to build out my project app. I think I did. I think I created my project app as well. Let me open it up. I think I talked about it in my live stream the other day. Let's see. Is this it? I think this is it. Yeah, you know what? This is it. Okay. So let me see. All right, so one of the things I would have to do here is, let me go ahead and show my screen while I'm working on it. I think when I'm doing it's fine for me to share anyways. So one of the things that I mentioned too before is when you're dealing in Django, so one of the things I love about Django, it helps you get started very quick. It does a lot of authentication that has it built in for you. It works very well. Nevertheless, though, that being said, I strongly recommend when you start an app in Django, always create your custom user table. Like, so what happens is in Django, if I were to migrate all of my changes over without having a custom user manager, it's going to use the what I want to call the default user manager that exists that Django provides for you out of the box. So what that means is it's going to Django already has think of it as Django already has this code ready to use that will create your user table for you, right? And they have like basic information, which is like first name, last name, I believe. I think it has email. What else does it have? It has some other stuff. I can't remember, but it has a few columns that is kind of default. That like when you create it, boom, here you go. The problem with that though, if you do that, so let's say if you create a project, you migrate the default user manager that comes with Django, deploy that to your database, and you start building off of that. And then let's say a few months from now, you're like, damn, I wanna add some columns to my user table. because now we realize that we want to capture, like, let's say alias name, right? Like the way I mentioned, I want to capture another column and I want to call it alias name. Or maybe I want to add another column that's going to be middle initial. Or maybe I want to add another column for phone number, right? I'm just, something. Well, in those cases, man, it becomes way more challenging to get it to work because you already built out the models and it's using model that's not customizable already by default. So it just makes things very challenging. Now, so your workaround in that case will have to be you have to create a whole nother table that ultimately could join to that table. That's really what would have to happen in that case. And then all because, you know, of not using a custom user manager. So even if you have no desire of changing the structure that Django is going to create for you for your user profile. So let's say right now you want to use exactly what Django provides for user profile. That's fine, right? That is a-okay. Nothing wrong with that. Um, I still recommend create a custom user manager because later on in the future you may want to add more columns. Like, so even if you create a custom user manager, you could just import in the user manager again that's comes from Django that they provide, and then we could just not add any specific rules or do anything special. Just import in. That's it, man, and it would ultimately use everything that's part of that class, and we're done. We're good to go. But at least like that, if you do it, it still keeps it as Django's original structure, and you could use that. But you just at the minimum creating a custom user manager, which means in the future, if you want to make changes, it becomes way more easier to add it to the same table as well, without having to do some kind of workaround. Which the workaround would be, okay, well, I can't modify that table now, or it becomes kind of challenging to do so. So now I got to create this whole nother table. Maybe it's called like user um, attributes or something. I don't know. And then ultimately that other second table, which is going to have to join to your first table. But that second table where you would have like your phone number, your alias, or some of these other values, right? So again, strongly recommend, man, when you first are creating a Django project, always create a custom user manager. And even if you're not going to modify the Django's user manager that it's going to generate, create a custom user manager. So at least later on in the future in your project, because you never know what the future holds. If you need to modify the user table, you're able to do so, right? You're able to add new columns, do whatever it is the hell whatever you want to do. So just kind of keep that in mind, man. Always strongly recommend. Um, Especially if you're building an app that's going to be utilized like in some kind of production environment. If you're building something from scratch that's literally going to be used by you for testing, maybe your local PC, and that's it, you're done, you're going to throw it away. All right, maybe you don't have to do nothing, but besides that, strongly recommend it, man. Um, what else? Let me grab my water right quick, guys. I don't know where the hell. I thought I had my water with me. I've been talking a lot, so now my throat's starting to get a little raspy. So let me grab me some water. All right, guys, I'm back. Okay, so yeah, again, just kind of we're talking about the custom user manager. Man, it needs to be customized, man. Simple as that. Just kind of want to put that out there to make sure that you do customize it. What else? So one of the things that I wanted to add as well. Um, was going to be for my custom user class. So in this case, it's going to be called alias. Let's see. So be a char field, max links. We could do 100. Shouldn't be no more than 100. Blanks true. No's true. What else? Okay. So you know what? Did I even set this up to my database? Let me check. Let me switch screen just in case. I don't know if I have my credentials set in my database or not. Oh, you know what? I didn't. Never mind. I just have a SQLite database set up. Okay, you know what? This is fine. I could deploy these changes. It would be fine. All right, cool. So let me go back. Yep, here's my project. All right, cool. So one of the things, just trying to think real quick. So once you're done making your changes in Django, right? Let's say you add your models. You know what? I'm not gonna deploy it. I need to add the other tables first. So I'm not gonna do that yet. I'm gonna hold off on that. What I do need to go with under my projects, under my project folder, under models. Now this is where I'm gonna create my models. I got a few models to create. I'm trying to think. So project. I think for right now I only have 3. Again, I'm trying to keep it simple, and I want to be able to release this app the next week or so. Honestly, I need to get. I can. I know I can. Should be able to knock it out just a few hours within the next week. So I could get it out there, and then again, that will be part of my May giveaway. When it comes to signing up, you would have to go to that portal, sign up that way. And then ultimately, one of the things that I'm going to do after people do sign up, so let's say 50 people sign up, one of the features that I'm going to end up adding to it as well is going to be a random picker. Let's say I want to pick one person out of that list of 50, but I want to just pick it randomly, right? Just, pick it, which, build some logic so it could be very random. And then have some kind of feature where, just kind of add like a timer of some sort, right? I could run it live to the app. You'll see it kind of, just like the way you do when you go to Vegas or whatever, right? You spin something, you see it spinning, and eventually you get your number. Just kind of build it where at least, doesn't have to be some kind of animation or nothing of that sort. But even if it's just some kind of loading window or something that's doing something, then eventually based on what the value that it picks randomly, then it'll just kind of display the user's name and their alias name type deal. So that will be the last feature. I could deal with that later. The main thing, give the portal to capture everybody who wants to register. Worst case, if I have to just randomly pick somebody for this month, I could do that. Then later on, you know, add that feature to it, right? So that could be a work in progress. So let's create a class. I'm gonna call this class project models model. Okay, so I'm going to I'm gonna call this project PK. This would be a big int. You know what? It's gonna be auto field, to be honest with you. So auto field is pretty much gonna auto sequence, and of course gonna set it to a primary key. So that's project PK. Then I'm gonna call my next column project name. Max links. Oh, damn it. This is probably gonna be, again, project name could be semi big. You know what? Let me change this. I don't know if I want to do this. I think what I want to do is let me try to think. You know what? That's big. That's fine. It's not a big issue, right? Big int is fine. That'll work. Project name, we'll do 255 for now. Nope, that's it. 255. Then I'm gonna do project. So we have project name. Project description, text field. Yep, that makes sense, because again, description could be a bit bigger, you know, in the context that we're gonna have. Let me see what else. So I'm gonna create created date model date time field. Default to, so what I want to do here is I'm going to bring in the date time now. All right, so that should default to that value. So I'm not providing a value. It's not something I'm going to be populating in, but I'm going to have giant. So you could, this could be part of, if you're building a table, and well, no, never mind. Forget what I was about to say. So this should work. That would be create time. So we have project name, project description. I'm gonna call this start date. All right, and this could be No, true. That's fine. Then end date, no, true. All right. So we have name, we have description, start date, end date. I'm gonna call it is active Boolean field. So ultimately, what this is saying is whenever I create a project, in order for it to even be available, I guess that's where I'm gonna have logic to say it has to be active, right? And so what that means is if I create a project in advance, like today, but maybe I'm creating a project today for the month of June. Well, I don't want it to get active yet. I want to wait. But I could create the profile, get it set up now. So whenever June 1st comes, I would just switch that indicator from false to true. Now, anybody who has a URL, they'll be able to access the web page. Like I could build logic that says if somebody tries to go to the web page, but it's not active yet, like that giveaway, but it is not set to active, then they will be redirected to some kind of other page that says giveaway has not started yet or something like that, right? Giveaway is not active yet. All right, so I need to add my other class for my metadata. What is this? DB table. My bad. DB. I think it's called table manage. You know what? That's not what it's called. What is it called? I should know this, man. Damn it, what is it called, guys? I know I do this all the damn time. I just I should know better. Damn it, man. DB. All right, so let me get that. So this would be DB table, which I had this already. I'm going to call this project. The other one is going to be manage. That's what it is. It's not table manage. Just manage equals let me see. Yeah, it's gonna be true. That makes sense. I want to manage. I want pretty much Django to manage it. A good example would be why this would be false. If you already have tables created, like already in your database, because it was already established, then this is going to be false. But you want to connect this model to that database, right? This Python object ultimately be linked to your database. So as you do inserts or updates or queries, you're pulling it by calling by an ORM, a Django ORM. That's a whole different topic, but nevertheless, you'll be able to pull it that way. What's happening here? Import date time cannot be resolved. There it goes. My bad. Yep, that's fine. So that's cool. I gave it a name. If you don't give it a name, I believe what it does, it will call it project underscore then the name of this class, which is project. I don't want it that. I want to give it my own name, which is why I gave it an actual table name. So that's kind of what happened here, which is what I'm doing here. Hey, what's up? I see Python Developer Zone. Hey, what's up, man? How's everything going? No, I'm doing pretty good, man. Just pretty much working on this project. So also, since you're on now, just kind of I mentioned it earlier in the live stream. So the giveaway that I have for the month of April, which is the Microsoft ergonomic keyboard. So I did a drawing today. I had some people email me. They want me part of the drawing. So I did it earlier, and I'm pretty much you're the winner, man. You got picked, so you're the winner. So I'll be emailing you through email, and then you could just through email send me the whatever address you want me to send the keyboard to, and I'll get that mailed to you later this week. So just kind of FYI on that. And so yeah, man, you're the winner for that giveaway. I'm gonna have another giveaway for the month of May. So I mentioned it earlier in my live stream. I'm gonna be giving away some RAM. I have some extra Corsair RAM, 32 gigs, 2 sticks, 3600 megahertz RAM, DDR4. So anybody who's in the need of some RAM, again, same thing. The difference is I'm actually building, and again I'm going to be showing through some of my live streams of what I'm building and how I'm building it through Django. But I'm going to be building an app for these giveaways. And what this app is going to do is anytime I have a giveaway, I'm going to provide a URL. So anybody who wants to like be part of that giveaway will just go to the URL, submit the entry, and then at the end of the month, I'm gonna build some functionality to the app to do like a random picker, right? So there happen to be 50 people for this giveaway. It's gonna just I'm gonna build some logic which just will randomly pick somebody, and then that's kind of how kind of gave me a way to kind of manage it better instead of me getting emails, because I got a handful of emails. So then I got to determine, who's for what and stuff like that. It just makes it a lot easier if I just build like some kind of platform. And on top of that, it's a nice little project to kind of show people that are new to Django, like how to get set up, right? And that's kind of what I was doing here, how to create models in Django that's going to be managed from Django, right? So that means these models these classes that I'm building out are pretty much our database models. And then as I make the migration from Django, it would actually create the models in the database and all of that. And if I add a new column, instead of adding it to the database, I would just come here, right? Add a new column in my model, migrate those changes over, and then of course, either way, I'm gonna be going through. I'm going I'm gonna be working on it as well, like beside beyond the live streams. But I'm gonna be kind of going over a lot of it as well in the live stream. So those of you, anybody who is new, wants to kind of get more familiar with Django and, just the structure of a Django project and stuff like that. Because I will tell you right now, a Django project is a lot bigger than a Flask project. A Flask project, what I like, it's very slimmed down. You literally only create what you need, and you keep it real basic. A Django projects were more designed for like bigger projects, so by default they come with all this extra configuration, or what do you want to call it, extra structure. Like you have the admin and apps and models and tests and URL and views, and so you got a lot more files associated, but it's really not complex. It's just kind of understanding why they're there and how to use it. And and Django works well when you're dealing with big projects. So when you're dealing with like a big project, you're gonna have many modules and all kinds of functionality. That's where Django becomes very handy, because now you can kind of create that structure to make it easier to manage going forward. So that's something I'll be kind of going over. So again, anybody who wants to be familiar with Django, I'll be kind of, again, working on this actual project that I'm building and then kind of discussing with y'all. Let's see. So my next request was, there is an Excel data and S3 bucket, but business wanted the Excel to be converted to CSV and store in new folder under same bucket, either via glue or Lambda. Okay, so I see what you're saying. So it sounds like you're gonna, whatever's coming from SharePoint, it's gonna be, I guess, managed via Excel, it seems like, and then when that file gets sent over from SharePoint over to, let's say, your S3 bucket, because it is in Excel, you need to have a process to convert that over to CSV. I guess that's what you're saying, right? Which that is doable. That will probably be more likely would be Lambda for sure, to do something like that, where ultimately we'll be able to read it. So in Lambda, we would have to set up, like, the thing with Excel, we'll have to set up we will have to install a package to be able to read Excel files, just because that is not part of Python out of the box. I'm trying to think of which one. Probably like OpenPY Excel, maybe one of the ones to use. That works very well for like the newer version of Excel. And then we probably use, we probably use Pandas and also OpenPY Excel. I think we're gonna need both of those packages, and I think that will probably be the easiest thing, because Panda will make it easier to just read the Excel file, and then of course easily save to CSV file, and it will be just get saved to the same bucket. Ideally, right? That's kind of like the goal. Okay, well let's take a look at it real quick. Let's see what we could do on that piece. So let's see. Let me open up. Let me find the file real quick. The file that we have been working on, that we were working on, like those CSV files. Let me try to find. Let me try to I'm trying to see if I have a local copy of that file or not. I may not have it. So let me go log into my SharePoint site real quick. So I think what we would do in that case would be, I'm gonna take, let's see, I'm gonna take that CSV file and ultimately convert it over to an Excel file, and then we could go ahead and test that, start playing around with that functionality. Let's see. Oh man, did I log into the right spot? Let me see. Let me make sure I logged into the right account. I think I did. Yeah. Okay, never mind. So we have your data. I forgot you provided your farmer's market data. So let's take this data. This would actually do. Let me go ahead and download. Let me open it up. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, let's go ahead and get to save to where is it at? There it goes. Excel. All right, cool. So now that we have this saved, what I'm gonna do now is, so let's go ahead and upload this guy back over here. So this file for now, I'm just gonna move it on over. So let me move it over to just this other folder, just in case if I need it for some reason. All right, cool. So we know we have our process already to pull data from here, download it from SharePoint, using Visual Chrome, and ultimately move to S3. So I think all of that's fine. That would actually stay the same, wouldn't change. So all of that would be fine. Let's see. Okay, so now let's see. Okay, so have it under farmers market. All right, so let me delete this data for now. Delete. And let me upload that file back. All right, cool. All right, so now that this has been uploaded, so now let's work on, pretty much we're gonna create a function where we're gonna wanna convert this data to Excel. So probably what I would do first is, before we even try to create a Lambda, let's create a script to do this, right? So let me go ahead and close out of this, close folder. Let's see. So I'm just gonna call this Excel to CSV. That's ultimately what we're trying to do here. All right, so I'm in this new folder. Let's just create a I'm gonna, again, same thing, Excel to CSV, because that's what we're trying to do here. Excel 2 CSV. So first thing, let me go ahead and just kind of get my environment set up because we're going to need to install some packages. So Python m virtual environment. I'm going to call it env. All right, cool. So next, let me go ahead and activate it. All right, and next I'm going to pandas, so let's get that installed. Let me see if it installs OpenPyXL. It may install it for me automatically. I'm not sure, but let's take a look. Okay, I guess not. I thought it would have, but okay, never mind. Well, I guess let me not install it yet. Let's play around with it first, and then we will get it installed. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do now, we're gonna read the Excel file. So let's do that. It will be. So what we're gonna do here, we're gonna test it out locally first. After we test it out locally, let me just kind of go back to my. So if I go to Lambda, let's just say we're gonna do a create function. So we should be able to create one from scratch. I'm trying to think if. So what we would have to do is whatever let me click on Python. Yeah, 3.9 should be fine. So like let me just do one real quick. I'm gonna just call this test, right? Just call it test. Kind of go through it real quick. Create function. Let's see. So ultimately, whatever all of this that's here, we would end up putting in our own. But what we would have to do though, we would need to. And that's what I'm trying to see. Where do we do that at? We would need to. We would need to include the packages because it's not going to have the packages. Let's see. So whatever so our code, once we test it out, at least locally, just put it together, and then that's what we're gonna use here. But the only thing I'm trying to see now is when it comes to the packages, because we're gonna need pandas. Again, pandas may be included already. That's on. Let me check right quick. Pandas may be included. If it is, then I don't need to worry about it. Python. Um, Lambda. Pandas. Let's see. So you know what? I think I think that I think it does have it already, man. So you know what? I don't think I need to do that. Let's try it out. Let's build it out first. Then let's push it out, and then we'll test it out. But I'm based on what I'm seeing, I think that it should read the pandas. Now the reason why I say that is I believe he's using like NumPy and some of the other packages as well for like AWS Glue. So that may be part of that environment already. But let's go ahead and, it's not going to take long. Let's go ahead and go through the process real quick, and then we'll test it out, and I think we should be good. Then we'll kind of play around with it from there. So now kind of going back to this guy. So the thing that will be different here, and this is where I'm trying to think is, I guess let's just play around. Let's just get it to work first, and then we'll make the change. There's a few changes we will have to do. Read Excel. So for example, one of the changes is going to be file pass. So in this case would be, well, where's our file? I'm going to put our file in, for now inside this project that we're dealing with. All right, cool. All right, then I'm going to provide file. Oops. Let me do file directory. Damn it. Pass. All right, so now that we have that, it's going to read that to data frame. Then what we should be able to do is data frame. So let's see. So now that we're reading it, all right. So now let's go ahead and save it. To CSV. And what do we need here? The file. I think it's going to be the full file path as well. So they just... I'm going to call this export file path. The only difference is going to be CSV instead of Excel. Hey, let's see. Quick question. If you have subfolders in SharePoint, how do you set up your docs library line in the config.json file? This might not be for this video now, but will be a good one to find out. I'm trying to use the script to develop and download files from SharePoint. Yeah, so you have subfolders. You would literally just I did an update to my SharePoint video, so it depends on which one you watched, but you could do it two ways. One way would be to add in the path name when you specify your root folder. You literally just put / and then these subfolders / subfolders, or you could just specify it on not in your config file, because your config file may only have your root folder like starting point, but you could specify it on your the project.py file. On that file, wherever you specify like the file name, for example, I believe it's like the not the file name, I believe I have there where you can specify the subfolder, and it will just be like mini subfolders / subfolders /. But for sure, we could do we could kind of walk through that process. Right now we're kind of testing out some AWS Lambda functionality where we wanted to convert an Excel to CSV. So if we have time today, we could do it today. But if not, I'll be live again on Friday at 9 p.m. and we could talk about it then. Or, I could try to review it and kind of make a quick video if needed over that. So let's see. So this is ultimately reading Excel data, put it to data frame. Then we're going to save it to CSV. So let's go ahead and run this real quick. So right now we're kind of I got a request from a viewer about how can we use Lambda to convert these files, right, Excel files to CSV in Lambda when they're dropped in a S3 bucket. So that's kind of what we're doing right now. Again, yeah, for sure though. Like, so I'm live, just kind of so you're aware of. I'm streaming live every Tuesdays from 8:15 to 10:15, and then I stream on Fridays as well. I'm live from 9 p.m. To about 11:30 p.m. And normally when I stream live, that's like the perfect time to, if you do have questions or you need help, that's kind of what we'll jump into it. We'll we'll walk through it step by step to kind of walk through your issue, so we'll be able to figure out what's wrong, how to fix it, better explain something. So for sure, again, I'll see if I can get to it today. I may not, because we're getting close to 10, but I'll be on Friday. So if you want, you could jump on Friday. I'd be more than happy to review like in detail to figure out, to better answer your question, and hopefully, if you do have any issues, we get that resolved as well. So let's see. So I'm going to run Python, Excel, TCS. Yeah, let's run it. There we go. See, I do need OpenPY. Yep, I knew I did. So now that I know that I need to, let me go ahead and get that installed. Cool. So now let me run it. And we should see a CSV file pop up. Boom, we did. So to actually do it is pretty straightforward, right? So let me just open it up because just want to make sure that it did convert it properly. All right, cool, man. Well, appreciate it. Thanks for joining the live stream. And again, if whatever description I like steps I mentioned to you doesn't work out, just either send me a comment or you can email me as well. You can email me at contact@iamlou.net, and then I'd be more than happy to communicate with you that way as well if needed to be to kind of help you get your issue resolved as well. Or you could join on one of the live streams, whichever way, right? You could email me, or you could join the next live stream, and yeah, we could take a look at it and get it resolved as well. All right, cool. So everything seems fine. Now the only thing I did notice is this column here, but this it may be an issue because it doesn't have a header name to it. We'll come back to this to see if this is going to be an issue or not. It may not, but for right now, we'll leave it there. But at least the functionality of what we're trying to do here, which is convert it to Excel CSV, we got it done. We got it straightforward. So there's really two packages that needs to get installed into Lambda. It's going to be Pandas and OpenPy Excel. Right, so I'm gonna assume that maybe it has. So I guess that's one piece of it. The other piece is these files right here. This is on my local machine. Well, I don't want it to point to my local machine. Let's see. That's the index column. When you save in Excel, just put index equals false. I appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for the index equals false. Cool. So now let me go ahead and rerun it again, and then that should solve that issue with that extra column. So let me go ahead and open it up. Hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I know that was going to be an issue too. I know we have an AWS glue job already set, and that would have thrown off that glue job because of header placement. All right, so that'll work. I appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for the input on that. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do is, let me see. So we will probably, I think what we're going to have to do here is also install. So what we did here, we know it works for what we're trying to do, which is read and then save the CSV. But what we're going to actually need here is going to be the Python Bodo 3 package as well. Let me get that installed. And the reason why we're going to need this is to... Let me check something right quick on Lambda. No, that's not what I want. So don't want a trigger. I guess I would have to do it this way. I was trying to think if, since I am running it on Lambda, like the script, if I need to pass in my AWS user tokens to authenticate to in order to connect to S3 bucket. I was trying to see if hopefully not, but I think I may have to. Or maybe I don't have to. I think what I need to provide is going to be just the bucket name, I believe. Let's see. So let's do this. So let me copy what I do have. Right. And again, this is, I know this is not going to work. This is going to get changed, and that's fine. We'll change it once I copy it over. But once, that's fine. All right, so what I'm going to have to do as well is let me go ahead and bring in, oops, need to move this out. All right, the other thing I need to bring in as well is going to be my Boto 3. Then I think this is where I'm going to have to set. Let's go ahead and get that set S3 client. Boto 3 client S3. S3 bucket Boto. My bad. This will be my actual bucket name. So in this case, what it's called, it's I am Lou001 tests, right? So that's my bucket name. Oh yeah, so one thing before I forget, so I had a giveaway for the month of April, and actually that giveaway, the winner was Python developer. He's actually on here, so he'll be getting that keyboard the next couple of days. So it was a Microsoft ergonomic keyboard. One of the next giveaways for the month of May is going to be some RAM. So I'm going to be giving away 32 gig stick of Coursera 36 megahertz RAM. So again, I'll be giving some steps on how to register, I guess, or like to enter in for that random drawing. But I'll be giving that away for the months of May. The only thing I would say is I do have a lot of followers as well, that subscribers that are coming from other parts, not from the U.S., that are coming from India, Australia, and so on. So for those subscribers, I still want to do something for y'all, but it may not make sense to like ship some RAM that, and the shipping cost would probably cost more than a RAM. So in this case, anybody who's not part of the U.S., you can still sign up. I'll give you, again, I'll be next week or so, provide some steps on when it's ready to sign up to kind of like be part of that drawing. But keep in mind the prize, if you happen to be international, will not be the actual RAM. It will be most likely a $50 gift card, maybe like an Amazon gift card or something. So I still want to show my appreciation for those of y'all who are not in the U.S., but just want to put that out there that it may not really make sense for me to ship an item from here international, due more so because it's going to cost me a lot more. But I'm thankful, appreciative for the viewers that are the subscribers that are following me that are international. So you can still sign up, but it won't be if you win, it won't be the prize. It'll be, if anything, some sort of like gift card, um, most likely. In this case, it'll be a $50 gift card. So just kind of want to put that out there real quick. So let's see. All right, so let me do something real quick. What I'm gonna have to do here is let's see. So I'm gonna be getting the object. So let's do that. That's what I'm gonna have to do here. So let's do file. Well, that's, so the gift card is not for this drawing. The gift card, well, so the gift card will be for the month of May's drawing, right? So for the month of May, I'm giving away some RAM. Anybody who wants RAM, they're more than, to qualify. But for the people that are not in the U.S., right? In those cases, it will be a gift card. But for the month of April, there is no gift card or nothing. It's literally just a keyboard only. So no gift card for the keyboard, not for that gifts. There are going to be some gifts that I'm going to be giving away that are going to be new items. For example, I have on my list, I'm probably going to end up doing this for the months of August, with it's probably going to be a GPU. So if, especially anybody who's out there trying to build a PC, it's kind of tough. I mean, it's kind of pricey, man, GPUs, right? Because of chip shortage and scalpers and so on, right? Crypto miners and everything. But that's the plan. Probably for the months of July or August, I'll be giving away a brand new GPU. I actually have some used ones. I'll probably give away at least one of my used ones, but in this case will be a new GPU. So let's see. In this case would be S3 client get object. So in this case it would be bucket. Let's see, our bucket would be the S3 bucket. Let me go to my bucket real quick. So this is the file I'm dealing with. Alright, so let me take this object key which is this guy, object key. Body, and then we'll do a read. Alright, so this will be our read context. Let me see if this works though. I'm just kind of curious now. Assuming that this does work, file context. This is where I will have to read it because it is an Excel file. Oops. And then ultimately save it out. Let me just see something real quick. I just want to test something out real quick. So, so maybe for the body, instead of doing this, again, my only thing here is that I'm not using this right now, so let me comment this out real quick. This is fine, this is fine. Let me do a quick test. So let's see. Um, let me just write test, private, that's fine. Um, when you say hit deploy to save, well, I should be able to test it out, but I'm trying to see now. Let me what I need to configure on this case. Test event. just do it real quick. All right, so let's see. Error syntax, blah blah blah. Let's see. Body.read line 13. So let's take a look at line 13. Okay, which is this guy here. Oh, okay. Never mind. I know why. So no, hold on. Wait up. Let me take a look at it real quick. So we have this would be key. I forgot to add key to it. So let's deploy. Now let's test. Line 13. This is the same. No, this is the one that I had earlier. Let me run it again. Oh, access denied. Okay. All right. So I think I may know what's happening. I was hoping that since I'm under the same environment, that it would I guess it kind of makes sense though, but so like in Glue, you could specify your role in order to access other services. I didn't specify nothing here. It kind of makes sense. So it's preventing me from accessing S3. So I'm gonna have to provide my let me see how I could do it. I guess I could do it in the form of a variable. Provide where's my word variable? There it goes. So I'm going to have to probably specify a variable here, which is going to be my my keys. So let me go ahead and get this set up real quick. So normally whenever you connect to like AWS, for example, like from an external platform, you gotta have a role that like a user that ultimately has access to these services, and then you will have an API key, and you got to use that API key in order to, like in your code, to be able to connect to these services and do whatever you need to do. So I have one created. I was hoping I didn't have to specify it, but it kind of makes sense. You kind of do. You got to do in all the other ones, so it makes sense on why that needs to be done as well. So let me go ahead and find it real quick, and so we could test it out. Where did I save it at? I know I have it somewhere. I think I have it under my. So I use like Keeper Security for all of my passwords and all that. I believe I probably put it in there. Let me see. If I didn't put it in there, I'm trying to think, where did I put it? You know what? I think I have it in. I probably have it in one of my my OneDrive accounts. So let me check there real quick. You know what? I don't see it in there. So now let me go to my identity managers section real quick. Okay, you know what? Never mind. I think I did find it already. The only thing about it is that I don't. Okay, you know what? Yep, I found it. This is it. So let me get my keys. All right, let me set these values in. All right, so I got my keys now. Let me go ahead and get that set as variables. Oh, what the hell did I? No, there. Here it goes. So the first one is going to be access key ID. And let me go ahead and copy that value in there. The next one is going to be secret access key. And let me go ahead and get that set up in there. Save. All right, cool. So now that I have let's see. All right, so now let me go back to my code. All right, I think I should be able to share my screen now. All right, cool. Okay, so now I need to access I need to be able to access my variables now. So I think I'm gonna have to bring in my let's see. Yeah, I do need to bring that in. Okay, so let's go to our code. Just wanted to make sure. Let's bring this the OS. So one of the things I'm gonna do is what they call it again? Access. Let me just call it key. And this would be Damn it, what the hell was it called? Alright, let me switch back. I need to see what the name is. I forgot what name I actually gave it. There it goes. Alright, so let me get this set up real quick. Then I'll share my screen again. Okay, so I think I'm good now to share my screen. Let me just see real quick. Alright, give me 1 second. I'm trying to check something real quick before I share my screen. Where is it at? Okay, so now let me go ahead and I think I should be good to share my screen now. So let me go ahead and share it. So now that I have my access key, secret key, ultimately I added this to my my environment and variables based on what I put in here. Let's see. So over here under my, you know what? I need to move this back. Under my clients section, this is where I'm gonna have to bring in my AWS, what is it, access key ID equals a access key AWS secret access key equals secret access key. Alright, so now that I have that, let me save it. Let's go ahead and deploy and let's test it out. Let me close out of this. PD not defined. Where am I using that at? PD. Oh, over here. Okay. Let me uncomment this. No, the access key doesn't change. So I'll make a video of it because I have it on my list to do videos, but I'll make it probably sooner rather than later because it's not going to take too long. But when you're going to have jobs and things be automated, that's always going to be running. what you want to do is you want to create a user, like in the identity management console over here. So let me see real quick. Maybe I could show it real quick. Just want to make sure that I'm not showing something. Oh man, yeah, I don't think I could show this, but I'll create one in like a test one, a dummy one. I'll make a video of it. But nevertheless, you got to create a user. The user that you create, you're gonna configure that user with specific access. For example, S3 bucket access, potentially AWS Glue access or Lambda, or whatever it is that you want. But you're gonna give them specific access that whatever, and ultimately that user is gonna be an API user. Think of it that way. So you're gonna receive an access key and a secret key. Well, those keys don't change. They're always gonna be like static values. But you got to use those keys. You will use those keys in your code base, but they don't change. They're not like refreshing, right? I'm trying to think. They're not like OAuth or anything where you have to refresh every hour or whatever, right? That's not the case in this case. There are keys that don't change, but you just got to utilize it, and by you utilizing those keys, then you'll have access, right, to whatever that user has access to. So let's do another test. Pandas. Okay, so which I expected this, right? This was the whole issue of, well, pandas not installed. So because it's not installed, now we're getting the issue where pandas is not identified. So let's take a look at that real quick. So AWS, let's check Lambda, Python, install pandas package. So I think what we're gonna have to do here is, this is where the this layer section, right, that we have here. Let's see. So I don't have nothing uploaded so far. I don't need to specify that. Choose a layer. I don't know if any of these have. Let's take a look at this guy. This may have Panda already installed. So let's check. Let's click that layer. Ultimately, you can upload your own, like create your own layer, and that's where you would have your think of it as your requirements files, right, of whatever packages you're going to be utilizing. But let me check that layer. I don't see it, but I'm trying to think if that has pandas already included, because if it does, then at least I don't have to go through that process of setting up the layer. So let me run it. All right, it's running. Let's see, timed out. Okay, so this was a different error. Task timeout after 3 seconds. So part of it I think is going to be as well. Let's see. So let me do for now, see, just to make sure, hopefully it's not because it's too much data or whatever, but narrow down my value that I'm just trying to test out to see. Also, I'm trying to see if there's any settings when it comes to the timing. Oops. Let me check something real quick. And so I'm going to adjust my memory configuration. Something a little bit more because I may need more. There we go. It has a timeout of 3 seconds. So I'm going to change that. So I guess let me show this because this probably makes sense. So ultimately I went to my my general settings. Right now it's timing out after 3 seconds, right? So it's going to take longer than that. I just do a minute for now. It shouldn't take more than a minute, but I just put a minute. Memory has 128 megabytes. If it's putting the data into memory, which I think it is, you may have to up this if you're dealing with more. Let's just do half a gig for now. That should be enough, I think. And of course, that could always get updated later. Let me save it. Yeah, so see under general configuration, it was set to 3 seconds timeout. So now let me go back and let's rerun it again. Alright, so and this makes sense. This was towards the end. I think overall it did what it was supposed to do. So what I'm gonna do here is let's try to put our actual code back to the way how we wanted to do it. Right, so data frame. But you know what? This is not gonna work though. Let me try to think. Okay, you know what? Let's do one more test. I do need to make sure that this is pulling the right data, as it should pull it anyways. So let me do this, and here let me do list data frame columns values. I'm just gonna call this header. Header 0. I'm gonna do header 3, whatever that is. Header number 3. Let's deploy. Let's give this a quick test. So based on what I saw so far, though, it errored out toward the end, just because I was trying to convert it to JSON. But I think it did read the file from the S3 bucket. I didn't. I mean, earlier I got access denied, permissions issues. Function update is still in progress. What happened? There it goes. Facebook. All right, cool. So Facebook is not a header. Let me open up the file real quick. Oh, you know what? Facebook is a header. What am I talking about? There it goes. Facebook is a header. It would have been 0, 1, 2, 3. Yep, that's it. Okay, so it did read it. It did read it, which is good. That was like step 1 to read it. It read the file. Now we want it to save. Let me see. All right, so we're almost there. I think we're halfway there. We got it to be able to read the file. Only thing we need to do now is save the file, save it out. So I think what we're gonna have to do here is going to be, let's see. I think one of the easiest ways to do this, and let's test it out real quick, but this should work, is going to be, so we have our data frame that we read from Excel, which I think it's fine because that's what we want. The next thing is going to be data frame to CSV. So one of the things that we can do here, and this would work. So kind of going back on this, just to make sure that you understand, this object key here relates to this here, this key. So again, if we're dealing with a specific file that we know that's always going to be the same, right? Because the file name's the same, it's just going to get rewritten every time. Then that becomes a little bit easier because we could just come and specify the key. That's what we're getting here. And that's kind of what I specified here under object key, which is this guy, right? Ultimately, it's the path of where the file's at. So that's kind of what that is. Now, when it comes to saving it, we're gonna save it out as well, and this is gonna be I gotta provide the full pass. So in this case, we're gonna do S3. This is one way to do it, right? There's actually 2 ways to do it, but let's try to do it this way. It would be S3. So in this case would be I am Lou001 test / staging / farmer market / farmers market data CSV. Now I think by doing this, there is another package we may need to install, but let's try this out real quick. Let's run it, and then we could play around with that other package if we need to, or we'll do it the other way. So the other way would be we could use the existing resources that we have, but let's try this real quick. I just let's just give this a try. This is not the way I was initially was gonna do it, but this, I think this would work, but let's just give it a try real quick. Let me deploy. All right, now let's test. Missing optional dependency, use pip or an account, blah blah blah. Yep, so that's kind of what I thought. Okay, so I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna do it the original way that I was thinking of doing it. So let me kind of go back, and we'll do it that way. So I'm gonna remove this. Let me just comment it out for now. So one of the things that I'm going to have to do here is going to be let me bring in from IO import, what is the string IO. So like I'm kind of giving an example of like how I use, because I use today, I have some pipelines that I use where I have files being dropped into S3 buckets and being processed by Glue, and how I have that scheduled, right, to kind of have it automated. And again, there are different scenarios. It depends on your scenario, but in my scenario, it works, and that's why I have it set up the way I have it set up. Like I have, for example, a pipeline where I'm extracting data from QuickBooks Enterprise. I'm extracting it out of their database. I'm uploading and I'm saving the extract in the CSV file. I'm uploading it to an S3 bucket. As it uploads, after it finishes uploading, because it's mini files. It's not one, it's like 20 different files. As these 20 different files all get saved to S3 buckets, what I do next is the next step is to run the AWS glue jobs. So in this case, I'm dealing with like 20 different glue jobs, one for every file to process. Once it finished running all 20 glue jobs, then after that, because after the glue job is finished, it pretty much reads the data, like, it extracts data, then loads it into a staging table in Redshift. The final step is to execute these procedures that I have in Redshift that ultimately takes the data from staging over to data warehouse. There's some processing, things like that, validation that occurs in the procedures. Now, for me, I don't need to have logic that says, oh, when new files are dropped, go ahead and run AWS Glue. For me, it's more of a, hey, whenever I'm going to schedule the job to run, let's say every 6 hours. So every 6 hours, it starts from beginning to end, right? Downloads, exports out data from QuickBooks, uploads it to S3 bucket. Once all the files are uploaded to S3 bucket, start running all of the glue jobs. After all the glue jobs are done, which means when the glue jobs are done, that means now I have fresh data in my staging table in Redshift. Then it's a matter of just start executing all the procedures in Redshift to ultimately move this data over to my data warehouse. And that's pretty much it. Now, if you're trying to be more like trigger based, kind of what you mentioned, which is more of a, when there's a new file that's dropped in, we want it to like trigger, then ultimately do something, or like in this case, convert the file to CSV. Because I had to do something too. So in that whole process that I just mentioned about QuickBooks, QuickBooks is half of the data. The other half of the data that I'm getting coming from Excel, just like the way you're trying to get data from Excel, same thing. Now, what I did on my step is I'm reading the Excel file, not in Lambda. I'm reading it on the original source on where it resides, right? So let's say your Excel file resides in SharePoint. The way I would do it in that case, like again, I don't know your scenario, so I'm just thinking more like if because I'm doing something very similar to what you're doing, where the Excel file for so you know what for me the same way the Excel file that I'm extracting data from, it lives in SharePoint as well. So I am reading that file from SharePoint, then I'm generating CSV files. I believe the Excel file that I'm reading from has like 10 tabs that I need data from. So I'm pretty much reading each tab, and I'm taking that data and ultimately saving it as a CSV file, because that's how I need it to be in a CSV file for the purpose of AWS Glue to process it. And then as I save it as an Excel file, CSV file, then I upload it to an S3 bucket. So kind of what you're doing here, it's kind of more of a like drop it as an Excel file and then convert it while it's in an S3 bucket to an CSV file. But it could be done, before that, right? So if we're downloading files from SharePoint, then you're gonna upload it to an S3 bucket. For me, in my mind, I'm thinking more of you could just in the process of when you download the file from S3 bucket, from SharePoint, before you upload it to S3 bucket, you will convert it there to CSV, because it will be a lot. In my mind, it will be a lot easier to do, because if you do it that way, then you kind of avoid a lot of these other issues that you may come across. They're not issues, but it'll be, again, we kind of saw just like right now, right? Like literally, this is how it took 5 lines of code to read a Excel file and convert it to a CSV. Straightforward. And this is exactly what it would take if we were to do it locally, where you download from SharePoint. As you download it, it needs to save on that server that's ultimately calling all of the jobs. Like again, I'm speaking more of you using like visual crones, like the tool that we're using initially. Then of course on that same server that's running that software, you would do this. And then you could upload it directly to S3, already converted to a CSV file. Now, if you don't have a tool like that or anything, or a server where it's gonna, like, if everything gonna be executed through AWS, then that would be more of a like, all right, well, somebody drops an Excel file in CSV, then it will be kind of like what we're doing here, where you need to convert it, and that's kind of what this would end up converting it. So again, there's many ways to do it. I'm doing something very similar to what you're doing today, like how I mentioned with QuickBooks data, Excel data. Only difference is I'm not converting it from Excel to CSV in Lambda or in even AWS. That process is happening before I even upload anything to an S3 bucket. So it all depends on the business, right? Depends on your needs and how you want to structure it. But yeah, no, for sure. It's Visual Crohn's is a little pricey. I would say though, it's more pricey than what I got it. Whenever I bought it, it was like you pay for it once and that's it. Now it's like this reoccurring model that they have, and it's a lot more pricey. They want to push the SharePoint to S3. And that's doable by all means, right? Like I know you probably saw the video, like one of the videos that I have that showing like using Python, to pretty much download files from SharePoint, then ultimately push it over to S3. Even in that scenario where you're gonna have that, if you go down that path where you have a Python script running, that is where I'm trying to think if Lambda can get utilized in that scenario, because I think it may be able to, right? I'm just trying to think, but either way, you need that code to reside somewhere, right? To ultimately run. If it's not going to run on some kind of local on-prem device, if it's going to run like in the cloud somewhere, then it may be like in a Lambda function for sure. We could have that scheduled to run. It's probably one way to do it. So what did you mention? You mentioned we should look into Amazon App Flow. Yeah, no, for sure. I wasn't aware that they had a connection to SharePoint. So, which if they do, that may be cool. Yeah. So you know what? Let's save that for our next live stream, and we could look into that. So that I wasn't aware of. But if it does, then yeah, that's an option for sure. So again, I think you have a few options. If I know the whole like visual Crohn's or something, or something similar to that, with more of a non coding option, right? Where it's kind of more like a just configuration through a UI to kind of set everything up and have things set up to work. But for sure, if coding, like if creating a script, for example, is an option, then that's doable. And I mean, when I say doable, like I actually have a video that relates to that. You just have to probably tweak it for sure and add on to it for some other functionality. But I would say though, if you go down that approach, like where your company is okay on having like a script created to do that, that is where you have some more flexibility, right? Kind of what we're doing here, where we have this code where we're trying to ultimately read the Excel file, then convert it to a CSV. Well, that could all be done straight from when you download it from SharePoint, right? So whatever code gets created for that to read from SharePoint, can we convert Excel to CSV? So the thing with Glue is you probably can. Ideally, it makes sense to have your file ready though when it comes to Glue, already ready to go. And the reason why I say that is because once you start getting things set up in Glue, and you want to create your tables to kind of build your schema of your files in order to be able to generate the same kind of schema for your database, you got to run crawlers that ultimately read your file. Well, in order to do that, your files in your S3 bucket need to be either in a JSON format, a CSV format, or like a Parquet format. I believe those are the only three formats that it needs to be in order for it to work. If it's not in either one of those formats, I don't. You won't be able, like, with AWS Glue. I mean, at the end of the day, you could write Python script within that process to do whatever it is you want to do. Like, that's not the issue. I think the issue is more there's other setups before that when it comes to your table schema that you need to kind of put together. And that's where you could use a crawler, for example, to kind of get that set up, and then ultimately use that table in your Glue job that you get, that you set up. And Excel it's one of those files that it's not most environments, even Azure, right? Again, Microsoft makes Azure. like they don't even like Excel files for their processes, their pipelines, stuff like that. They're not. Let's see. What do you say? No, I'm talking about Glue, Data Brew. My message reaching out after. Oh, gotcha. So the that may be an option. I'm trying to think. I need to see what data sets they deal with though as well. And the reason why I say that is the one the one data set, like most systems always either just, it's kind of like a standard to some degree, right? It's your CSVs, you know, data pipelines, just certain processes. That is like the key file that it's almost guaranteed to work most of the time without issues. Excel is like those files that just causes all kinds of issues. And the reason why Excel causes all kinds of issues, though, it's because of a lot of the nuances that you got to deal with, formatting. You know, sometimes you have a column that's really not a date format column. It's actually a text, but it looks to be formatted like a date, but it's not a date. Same thing with numerical columns. You could have a numerical column that looks like a number, but it's really formatted as text. So now you got to deal with those issues if you were to convert it from Excel or try to read it that way. Depends on what how you're reading it. Is it going to convert it properly over to CSV? Things of that nature. At least that's my experience. I'm not sure Data Brew would actually work in that case. I would have to look into it to see. But I think if the main goal here is literally all we need to do is convert it from Excel to CSV, right? Like without manipulating, without doing anything, all we want to do is convert it from Excel to CSV. Then I think the process that we have works. I think even this process that we kind of try to put together through Lambda, I mean that works as well too, right? You know, to kind of have that run. I think that the issue is you want to have a nice flow on how everything works together. So if like at least in my opinion, if you're gonna have a script, like let's if you're I know with the visual Chromes what all about, we want a UI, we want to be able to have no code and kind of have everything worked. So I get that, right? But assuming that the that may not be the solution because a tool like visual Chromes, you know, kind of pricey and things of that nature. Well, that's kind of where I will go back and be like, all right, well, we could have, you know, put some code together to do what we wanted to do. And I think if that was the case, if that is the case, then that is where it's a matter of kind of configuring some of the processes, right? So it's I think a lot of it just kind of depends what do you have available, right? If you do create you do have a script that's going to run. I mean, those are a few questions you kind of need answers. Are you going to run on-prem, or do you need that to run in a service? That's number one, right? Like a Lambda or something, right? Or whatever, right? I know you mentioned app flows. We could look into that, see what are our options there for app flows. Again, even if that works, app flows works for the purpose of maybe connecting to SharePoint to be able to download files. That's still not going to solve the problem of, well, you need to convert that Excel file to CSV, and then you're still going to need some kind of script to do that potentially, right? Which would be either this Lambda function that we're creating or something else. So I mean, there's still other pieces that you would have to do. I think if the file was not in Excel, it was strictly in CSV. Again, assuming that the app flow works, it'll download it, it'll upload it to your S3 bucket, but then you're still going to need some kind of functionality to know when do I start my glue job, which is your ETL process, right? Which is going to extract the data, then load it to your database. And again, a lot of those that depend on different factors. Are you trying to have everything be trigger based, or it needs to be like in my mind? Most of the time, schedule structure works. It just again depends on the business if how you want to have it structured. Like kind of going back to the assuming that app flows works in AWS. Well, most likely if that does work, it's going to be a scheduled job that you would have to get created. Something that runs, let's say, once a day, 2 times a day, etc. Right? So if it's going to be scheduled to run already, like once a day or twice a day, to be able to pull files and send it to S3 bucket. Well, that's kind of where it probably doesn't really make sense to have other processes triggered based because they're going to be on schedule anyways. If it's on schedule to run 3 times a day, then you could have it scheduled as well to execute the glue job and any procedures or whatever it is that you got to do. Right? It could just all flow through the schedule. So yeah, let's take a look at it, man. We can take a look at it Friday. We'll play around with the app flows and then see what we could do about that. I'll save this what we have so far for this Lambda function when it comes to converting from Excel to CSV. We're almost there, right? I think ideally there's only we know it is reading, it is connecting, it is reading the data, the Excel file. Ultimately, the final piece is just saving it to CSV to the same bucket. So we will play around with it some more on Friday. But yeah, I think that's good, man. I'll put it down on the list and we'll take a look at the app flows and see what's available and what we're able to do and what we're not able to do. Kind of go from there. All right, man. So I think that's gonna be it for the live stream. Again, man, you did win the keyboard. So I'll be connecting with you through email, and then you could provide me whatever address you want me to ship it to, and then of course I'll ship it to that address. But again, for the months of May, I'm gonna be giving out some RAM that I have. So 32 gigs of RAM, a DDR4, 3600 megahertz. So anybody who's in the need of some RAM, that's gonna be my next giveaway. And I am creating an app that I'm putting together when it comes to registering for some of these giveaways, right? So I'm gonna try to have that done. It's not gonna be the prettiest app because I'm trying to hurry up and speed up the process to get it done. Nevertheless, I should get it done hopefully in the next week and a half or so. So once I get it done, I'll make a video of May's giveaway, providing some input on how to kind of register for the RAM if you're interested in the RAM, and then we kind of go from there. Yeah, man, appreciate it. Like always, man, thanks for joining the live stream. It's always fun kind of exploring and figuring things out as well. Like, again, even myself, there are things that I may not know, but hey, we'll figure it out, right? If I don't know, we'll figure it out together and get and solve these problems. See you on Friday, man, with